It's 6 o'clock in the heart of the Texas Hill Country, and you're listening to Eat, Play, Live with me, Andy P., the show that's chasing dreams and crushing goals. My goal here is to help you live a healthier, happier, more balanced life in 2022 and beyond. Our focus for this year: learning to love yourself unconditionally, because loving and accepting ourselves is the best way to create long-term growth. Any changes we make cannot be long-term, cannot be sustained unless we first love and accept ourselves. So that doesn't mean that some days, weeks, months aren't going to be tough. They still are. Life still happens. In fact, I was looking at Facebook the other day, and I like how it'll let you scroll through memories from years and years and years ago. And I saw a memory in which I posted, "Some days I feel on top of the world. Other days I feel squished by it. Today is a squishy day." Yeah, I felt that. And in fact, the day I was reading it, another squishy day. So what do you do when you're having a squishy day, when the world feels like it's just weighing down on you? I mean, it happens to all of us. So let's break it down. Let's start with, what do you eat? What do you eat when everything is just too much and you're overwhelmed? That tends to be when we reach for things that we shouldn't be having. And here's kind of the catch-22, is that foods that are high in carbohydrates stimulate the release of serotonin, which is the feel-good brain chemicals that help you feel calm. Okay, so this makes sense. We should eat carbs, right? Because that's going to make us feel calm. But here's the tricky part. Not all carbs are created equal, right? You know this. So we have to reach for the right kind of carbs and pair them with proteins so that we're actually helping to calm ourselves, helping to achieve the balance that we're seeking, both emotionally and in the food that we're putting in our bodies. So, best choices for the carbs that you should reach for are fruits and vegetables, whole grain breads, and whole grain pastas. You know, we've talked about this before. You've got to go for the whole grains. If you're reaching for the white breads and the white rice and all of those super processed carbs, what that does is spike your blood sugar. So yes, you may feel better right away. It may give you a burst of energy the way sugar would, because your body thinks it's getting sugar. It's going to spike that blood sugar, but it's not giving you what you need to release the serotonin to actually make you feel better in the long term. So reach for those good carbs, those healthy carbs, and then pair them with a lean protein. And that helps them work even better for you, helps you feel even better. So all the stuff that we have coming at us is not going to be so overwhelming when we're doing the right things for our body. Does that make sense? It should, because it's right. So, okay, so this was an interesting thing. So I started looking at, okay, well, what foods are best for releasing that serotonin? And what we're looking for are foods that are high in tryptophan. Okay, you've heard of tryptophan, right? It's an amino acid that's important for the production of serotonin in the body. So people cannot make tryptophan in their bodies. We have to get it from our diet. Okay, so we have to eat the tryptophan, and that triggers the serotonin. They work hand in hand. So here are the foods where we're going to find that tryptophan. Oily fish. oily fish, salmon, anchovies, and eating them twice a week is what's recommended. Okay, well, do you eat salmon or anchovies twice a week? No, I bet you don't. Very few of us eat that much salmon and or especially anchovies. Like what how are you even going to do that? So, obviously, when you think of anchovies, you think of pizza unless you're insane. So, I'm thinking we could have a pizza on a whole wheat or cauliflower crust with anchovies. And what else could you put on that? Maybe chicken. Meat on a pizza is always tricky because almost none of the normal pizza meats are good for you. They're either pepperoni or Canadian bacon, which are full of nitrates and fat. Well, pepperoni more fat, not so much the Canadian bacon, but they're still full of nitrates. Italian sausage, full of fat, not good for you. Ground beef, if you're making it yourself and you can use lean ground beef, okay, super. But if you're eating out, probably like the least lean possible because they're going to go with what's cheaper. So chicken is kind of the only meat I've found that you can put on pizza that's actually good for you. So we got some anchovies, some chicken, maybe throw some spinach, some mushrooms, some sun-dried tomatoes, little artichoke. That actually sounds like an amazing pizza that I could do twice a week. So let's get on that and start eating our anchovies and salmon. Of course, salmon is fabulous, but it can get a little pricey to be eating that twice a week. So we got to mix it up. Also, you can find tryptophan in poultry. Of course, we know that. We've heard of this from Thanksgiving because you find it in turkey, in eggs. Eggs are the miracle food. I talk about eggs all the time because they are just a little wonderful egg-shaped miracle. they're so useful. They're so good for you, and you can hard boil them and take them to go. I mean, they're transportable. They just have so many uses. So I will never stop preaching the wonderfulness of the egg. Spinach is also a good choice for tryptophan, and it's also high in magnesium, which helps fight fatigue. So you're kind of getting a double whammy here where you're getting that release of serotonin, but you're also fighting fatigue. So you're more awake, you're feeling better. It's all around a good for you food. And like I mentioned, you can put it on that pizza with those anchovies and you are making a stellarly healthier choice than most pizza would ever be. Then seeds, nuts, and soy products. So these are all three relatively high in tryptophan, but they're also choices for people who are vegan. You can eat those, and they also have protein. So those are really good things to add to your diet. So what should we avoid when we're stressed, when we feel the weight of the world bearing down on our shoulders? Well, guess what? Sugar, avoid. White breads and white grains, like I talked about earlier, you got to avoid those because they're going to give you that quick, instant rush, but then you crash again and it makes it worse. It makes just everything in the way you feel, and it may be slight. You may not even totally realize the little fluctuations that are happening, but it does. It adds up and it makes a difference. Also, caffeine. Caffeine can be tricky because when we're stressed and we have a lot of stuff coming at us, we want to reach for maybe another cup of coffee or an energy drink. Those have become so popular. They're all over the place. But it can make anxiety worse and it can give you the jitters. So then you're just kind of it's really hard to deal with all the crazy stuff that's coming at us if we're jittery and tense, and it's not allowing you to calmly approach what's going on in your life, to calmly deal with all the things you've got coming at you. So maybe just limit that caffeine a little bit. Have your cup of coffee in the morning. I'm never going to tell you not to have your cup of coffee in the morning. I promise you, I will not tell you that, and you don't tell me that. we'll be okay. So just maybe limit it to one in times of heavy duty stress. All right. Then, of course, one of the best ways to calm down when you're feeling overwhelmed is to play. Yes, go outside if you can, if it's not too cold out, or inside, and get your heart beating. Get some exercise in, move your body, and that is going to boost your mood, boost your energy levels, help with weight loss, and it actually protects your memory and your thinking skills. Wow. Okay, if you're dealing with a lot of heavy duty stuff and you're stressed and you're overwhelmed, what better thing can you do than to boost your mood, your energy, help you with the way you feel about your body, protect your memory? I mean, it just doesn't get much better than that. So besides eliminating stress and feelings of being overwhelmed, other benefits of exercising regularly. This is not a one and done. Okay, I'm stressed. I'm going to exercise one time and now it's okay. No, an ongoing program that you are building into your lifestyle is what is going to make lasting difference in your life. And it will help boost your immune system, which we are all into keeping our immune systems as boosted as possible right now, and reduce inflammation and just keep your body functioning well. You cannot take on the world if your body is not functioning well. So while we're playing, something that I have been doing a lot of lately is hanging out in the sauna. Okay, so I work out at Kinesio Fit here in Mason, and they have a sauna, which hallelujah for that. It's so nice. But actually, saunas have a very profound effect on the body and can be very calming for you and help in reducing your levels of stress. So the dry heat, which can get as high as 185 degrees, it's funny, we complain in the summer, yet we'll sit in a sauna and sweat it out. But your skin temperature soars to about 104 within just a few minutes of sitting in that high heat. So the average person will pour out a pint of sweat during just a short little stint in the sauna. Your pulse rate jumps by 30% or more, and it allows the heart to nearly double the amount of blood it's pumping each minute. Isn't that interesting? So while it's doing all this kind of it almost sounds like a stressor to the body, it has a calming effect on you overall. And I have been concerned sometimes. I have some friends that like to spend a lot of time in the sauna. So I wondered how safe that is. And saunas do appear to be safe for most people. Now, if you have high blood pressure or heart disease, you definitely want to talk to your doctor about the safety of spending much time in a sauna, because there could be some issues with that. And I am not a doctor. I am not a health expert. I am just a girl with a lot of opinions about a lot of things to do with fitness and life and that sort of thing. So check with your doctor. Okay. However, you do want to take a few precautions when it comes to spending time in the sauna. One of those should be pretty obvious, but just in case you need to be told, you should avoid alcohol and medications that might impair your sweating and cause you to overheat. Avoid those both before you get in the sauna and right after you get out. Okay, you want to let your body, you want to sweat. That's the point of being in the sauna, is to sweat it out. Now, if you're hungover, might be a good thing to sit in the sauna and sweat it out a little bit. Just saying. It is recommended that you do not stay in there at the high heat for more than 15 or 20 minutes. Okay, now I see people staying in that sauna for 30 minutes, an hour. Now, if your sauna is like the one at the gym here, you turn it on, it's not at maximum heat right away. So you can sit in there as it's warming up. Okay. But if it's on max heat, do not be sitting in there for an hour. That is too much, and you're going to get dehydrated, and it's really not good for you. Okay. It's one of those things where a little bit is good, too much of a good thing, not so good. All right. So you also want to cool down gradually afterwards. So once you get out of the sauna, don't run straight outside, especially if it's like tonight where it's going to be super freezing cold. Go ahead and cool down in the gym and then go outside. Another thing, and this was not in any of the research I did, but I have had my phone overheat in the sauna. So it's probably not a great idea to take your electronics in there with you. Your headphones also, especially if they have metal on them, they're going to get really hot. Leave that stuff outside. And I know that this is hard. This is very hard for us to step away from our phone or our headphones. I get that, but it's very peaceful and very calming to just sit there. What an excellent place to meditate. You know, I talk a lot about the benefits of meditation, and especially with what we're talking about tonight, when the weight of the world is got you feeling squished, meditate and maybe do it in the sauna. Then I call it multitasking because you're getting all this done at the same time, right? You're getting your sweat on, you're getting your meditation, you come out and usually, work out first, then go sit in the sauna. By the time you come out, man, you're so ready to take on the world because you have done what needed to be done to take care of you. And self-care, huge, vital. Okay, I'm going to talk about self-care just a little bit more in just a minute. One more thing about going in the sauna. If you're sick and you're not feeling so great, really not the best time to go sit in the sauna. Okay, a lot of people think if I get in there, I'll sweat out whatever it is, but it could be doing more harm than good, and you're just not sure. So maybe ask your doctor. If your doctor says, yeah, go sweat it out, okay, but it might not be the best idea for you. Okay. So let's move into talking about self-care and why I think we all need to calm down. I don't know. Just lately, I've been getting this vibe from Facebook and from listening to my friends and family, and even just within myself. There's just a lot of tension and stress right now and feeling overwhelmed. And I don't know if it's leftover from the holidays or kind of my theory is, so we've had this holiday season where we are all supposed to be happy and peaceful and jolly. And most of the times we're really not that during that season either. But most likely you had a little bit of time off. And now, okay, here we are. The new year has begun and we're supposed to get right back to work, even though like we're still in a brain fog from being off on vacation or with the family or whatever. So now we're back at it and it's the new year. So we're supposed to have our new goals and be just fired up and ready to go. But yeah, we're still like, I don't know. I mean, it was just New Year's and I'm still recovering from that. I'm not ready to take on the world. So how do you jump right in and attack those goals and resolutions when you're still in that recovery mode? Plus, the weather, at least in Texas, has been insane, right? It's hot, it's cold, it's hot, it's cold. And when it's cold, like, I don't want to do anything. So how on earth are we supposed to feel motivated and resolved and just balanced? Ooh, yeah, remember? That's what we're trying to do here is have a more balanced life. And we're just like, all over the place and feeling pretty overwhelmed. You know, a lot of new goals for the new year, whether it's your work goals or personal goals, all of a sudden it's like, okay, I got to get this stuff done. So let's start by just acknowledging that we might be feeling completely discombobulated. I don't know if that's a real word, but I like it. it just so accurately describes how I know I've been feeling this week. So if that's where you're at, just acknowledge that it is okay to be feeling that way. You know, I'll tell you, one of the things that has me super discombobulated, yeah, I'm going to use it again, is that I had a change in my living situation over the holidays that was not entirely expected. So I've been an empty nester here for a few months, and my younger son decided to move back home for a little while. And all of a sudden, so when he moved out, of course, I cleared out his room, turned it into my gym, made it very boho. I've got tapestries and I've got all my workout stuff and I've got my medals from the different things that I've accomplished. And I just made it this fabulous, happy space to kind of combat the little sadness that comes with being an empty nester for the first time. And so I created this awesome space, and now there's a boy in it. There's a boy in my space, and he has a lot of stuff. And he's actually here right now, so he's probably hearing me giving out his secrets, but he's not the neatest person you ever met. And so all of a sudden, my house, which was super clean and it was just me. And so if I left something there, it was still there the next day, and then I just put it away and it was no big deal. And now I have another person. And so my house is feeling very cluttered because I'm trying to figure out what to do with all his stuff, and my gym equipment has to go. So a lot of it's been coming out into the living room. And so now the living room is looking cluttered, and so what do you do when you're overwhelmed by something that's really not that big a deal, but it's still kind of everywhere and it's got you feeling off kilter? Well, maybe just do one thing. Clean the microwave. I don't know. Do a load of laundry. I think maybe I'll assign him a task too. We can both just do a little thing. Just helps you calm down a minute and just realize that, as with everything, it's just one thing at a time. So know too, when you do start trying to get things organized, whether it's physical things or mental things, you know, when you're cleaning something, like you decide to tackle a drawer or a closet, and I'm going to clean this out, and you realize that you've made a bigger mess. You have everything everywhere. There's stacks going on, because we always create a bigger mess before it gets better. And that happens in our personal life too. We start trying to clean out one area and it kind of flares up and makes a bigger mess. So if you're dealing with something like that, if you're cleaning out or making some changes, some resolutions in areas of your personal life, I want to just remind you that we cannot control the reactions of other people. Okay, so if you're making a change, you need to remember that other people are going to deal with that change in their own way. And that is not your problem. So whether you're just changing your hair color, oh my gosh, when I decided to have gray hair, people were freaking out. I don't care. I don't care how they feel about my hair. It does not affect me. If you've decided to begin a new relationship or end an old relationship, how other people react to your choice, your decision, not your problem. Maybe the way you've been running your company, doing your business, you want to make some changes. Some people are maybe not going to like that. That's okay. It's okay. Like I said, their reaction is not your problem. All right. I just wanted to remind you of that, because sometimes we get stuck in not wanting to make changes that we know we need to make, and we know we're correct. We've done our due diligence. We've thought it out. But how are people going to react to that? It's going to be messy. Just like cleaning out that closet. It's going to be messy. And then it'll get cleaned up. You'll figure out which things to put in the trash, which things to save for later, which things to donate. And before you know it, you have accomplished your task and done the job. I hope you do have somebody steady in your life that you can talk to. Whether it's a friend, a mentor, a counselor, a pastor, a parent, whoever it is for you. And if you don't have a steady person, really work on finding a steady person. Maybe take inventory of the people in your life that you can trust and that are close to you. And think about who could be your go-to person when you're struggling with a change or a decision or just feeling that weight of the world on your shoulders. Who can you go to? Who's your steady? I want you to live a healthier, happier, more balanced life. I say that at the start of every show, which you're listening to Eat, Play, Live, in case you tuned in late and have no idea what we're talking about. This is Eat, Play, Live with me, Andy P. And that's the goal, is to help you live a healthier, happier, more balanced life. So that's why we're focusing on self-care this year, because loving ourselves better, loving ourselves thoroughly, unapologetically, that is how we're going to care for ourselves. Remember that self-care is not self-indulgence, it's self-preservation. So all of you type A's who don't get overwhelmed and you don't get what I'm talking about feeling squished, and you just charge right out and you do all the things. Well, I have some advice actually for you too, because you may not feel like all this pressure is weighing on you, but if you are giving 100% of your time working for others, doing for others, and you are not taking any time for self-care, you're still going to burn out. Whether you feel it coming or not, you will run out of the energy to just keep giving. And it's a lot harder to recover from hitting that wall head on than to just give yourself little bursts of energy along the way. It reminds me of running an endurance race, which, oh my gosh, I just signed up for a series of 4 half marathons over the next 4 months. What am I thinking? But I know when I do these that I don't want to hit a wall. I need to be ready, be well trained, have my little food and energy packets, my water, because as long as I keep that energy at a steady rate throughout, then I will have the endurance to finish the race. And same goes for our lives. Taking care of our own needs just a little bit at a time keeps those fires burning. So I want you to stay strong, stay balanced, and I hope tomorrow is an on top of the world kind of day for you, not an I'm feeling squished by the world kind of day. Okay. I'm Andy P. I thank you so much for tuning in here each and every Thursday at 6 p.m. I thank you for being part of my tribe, and I encourage you to eat well, play hard, and live the life you love.